and do this here. Give me 1 second here. And I'm going to try to answer your questions again. My God, this is terrible, man. This is terrible. Anyway, let me try to answer your questions, guys. In the future, like I said, these would be pre-recorded videos in the future where I can answer some of your questions, the reasonable ones, and I believe that these are reasonable questions. We're going to start this over again. Okay, so here we go here. The first one is, G-Man, are you married? If you didn't see the first debacle of a live show I did, where my camera turned around on its own, the question was, G-Man, are you married? And I said in my first attempt that if I tell you yes, you ain't gonna believe me. And if I tell you no, you're not going to believe me. So it's personal, and I don't want to talk about it. Now, there are YouTubers, as well as people who watch my YouTube channel, who know the full legits of the story. Some of them don't even make content on here, and they know more than a lot of you claim you do, in great detail. They understand why I don't talk about this on YouTube, because I watched what you guys did to Shani and Rev. I watched what you guys did to so many other people on the internet. And the only reason you want to know this stuff is so that you can gather information to use it against me to harm me. So I'm using my constitutional right by not answering your question. I don't have to answer your question. All right. Again, you won't believe me if I told you what the case was. And then number two, you know what I mean? You just wanted to try to hurt me. Anyway, so the next question was, G-Man, why do you call other people Uncle Toms on here? I call other black Christians on here Uncle Toms because these people are trying to do more harm to the black community than they are trying to uplift it and help it. Okay? They are doing what a lot of racist white atheists want to do, and they're speaking out through these black secularists. A lot of people was not happy about, well, Midwest guy wasn't happy. I don't know about a lot of people, but Midwest guy was not happy when I called him an Uncle Tom, because he comes across as a guy who, and I genuinely feel like this, and it's their fault because they don't elaborate what they mean when they're talking about certain things. They really don't. And because they do such a poor job of doing it, these are the conclusions that I come to. That this gentleman comes across that if he saw, two police officers beating up a black guy, he wouldn't care. That's how he comes across to me. Hannibal Monty comes across to me the very same way. Miss Parker definitely comes to me that way. She almost looks like she would actually help them beat up a person and lynch them too. You know what I mean? That's why I call people that on here, because they come across as not caring about their own people. Just because you're not a Christian and just because I'm not an atheist doesn't mean that we got to walk around here and just hate each other in principle. You know what I mean? I don't hate Miss Parker. I don't hate Midwest guy. I don't hate Hannibal and Monty. There's a certain amount of prosperity I would like to see these people have. But at the same time, they have to understand that when you attack somebody personally, people are going to say things. Let's go on. G-Man, why are you friendly or friends with Shani and Rev? Well, I was friends with Shani and Rev before they gave me what they gave me. This is what I was talking about when I was walking around before I deleted that stream. I was friendly with them before they gave me anything. Shani would come to my YouTube channel, the G-Man channel, GTV. No, not GTV. She came to Marked by God, I think, a couple of times. And she came to my G-Man channel a couple of times before her and Rev even got together. And we was around during the Great Debate days. I met Rev for the first time in a Google Hangout done by Nadia Chambers, where she was doing her debate Coliseum. So that's how I met Rev, and we was friendly then. We had our disagreements too. All of that stuff is highly documented. You can go in the debate Coliseum to see some of the yelling matches me and him had. But at the same time, we would come to the conclusion that we're both Christians and we shouldn't be arguing with each other. I've had disagreements with Shani for Christ before they gave me anything. So I was very angry at them. They said some things to me that was that wasn't good, but I said some things to them that wasn't good too. So I chose to forgive them because I had a lot of things going through my head and a lot of things going through my heart that were not godly. I told them this to their face, that I had to forgive them. I had to, because I know the kind of person I am. So, and this is the key thing. I know what kind of person I am. One day, when I do a Christian stream on here, where there's nothing but Christians on here, I'm gonna try to get some people to try to just give their testimony so that we can just talk about where we're coming from and what Christ has saved us from. Because a lot of you just don't get it. You just don't. But I had to forgive them, and it was very refreshing when they forgave me. Do we still have minor disagreements and spouts? Yes, we do. But the point of the matter is, there's a lot of love there and there's a lot of forgiveness there, right? So I choose to be friends with them because, quite frankly, they're better friends to me than any secularists I've ever met on the internet. Sorry, but it's true. And can't none of you prove otherwise. And I mean that. Let me see something here. Here's one. Here's one that I thought was reasonable that I think I should finally talk about. G-Man, why are you so sensitive? Now, I thought about this one, about how I should go about answering this question, because I could flip it around and ask you guys the same question, or I could just stick with me. And I thought about it. I'm just going to stick with me, and I'm not necessarily going to go in on you guys right away anyway. So I'll stick with me first. I wouldn't call myself sensitive. I would call myself, or you know what? Let's just stick with that for a moment. If you were a black man and people was calling you the N-word and people was calling you all of these derogatory terms and making stuff up about you, I think you might come across as being sensitive too. As a matter of fact, I can prove it. What was it, about 6 years ago? I believe, if I'm not mistaken, about 4 miles from where I'm at right now, I do declare that I talked about a certain individual on YouTube, and a lot of people got mad, and they started coming up with these campaigns that we're just gonna just make up stuff about G-Man, even if the stuff that you get wasn't even true. Give me this garbage that I'm sensitive. It's a trollish a statement to try to justify some of the hate speech that a lot of these folk are coming at me with. By nature, for those of you who understand human nature, because I'm not sure a lot of you do, but for those of you out there who understand human nature, I'm a very confrontive person. I am not the kind of person that likes to hide behind a tree when I'm dealing with somebody. I'm a very straightforward person. If you've ever been to a job site with me, for example, let me give you an example of the kind of person I am. If you've been to a job site with me and I see people politicking for what they want, saying, yo, do me a favor, put in a good word with me with the boss. I'm not one of them people. If you go to church with me and I got a problem with what the pastor said, I'm not one of these people going to the deacon and say, hey, deacon so-and-so, could you go to the pastor and let him know that I thought that was unbiblical about what he said? No. Evangelist Ken will back me up on this 100%, because this is one of my flaws in life. I am a very straight to the point type person. And I'm always out of my element when I'm not allowed to be straight to the point. You know what I mean? So, I don't need a deacon to talk to a pastor when I got 2 feet in the mouth myself. I'll walk to him and say, listen, I don't think what you said was correct. And I ain't got no problem going to a boss, asking a boss for a raise, because if I don't get a raise, I'll walk off the job. And I've done that I don't know how many on different occasions. So I'm a pretty direct person. If you see me biting my tongue, it's for a reason, I promise you. I'm a very direct person. If I'm biting my tongue, it's just for a reason. I have to be quiet. I've been ordered to be quiet. Takes me out of my but as far as like me being sensitive on here and everything, like I said, if people was saying, if you was black and people were saying the things to you that they were saying to me, you would come across as being that way too, I guess. I don't know. And I believe that a lot of you would qualify as being sensitive as well, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question. G-Man, nobody cares about atheism, so why talk about it? I don't agree with that. There are a lot of people, believe it or not, still talking about this matter. William Lane Craig happens to be one of them. There ain't that many Christians, but there are still someone here that still make atheism their primary topic while being on YouTube. The thing is, I've reached my peak. with dealing with them. I can't go any higher with the things that I've said and the things and my interactions with them. The people that I want to debate have made it clear that they don't want to debate me. The people that I want to engage in conversation with kind of feel that the whole great debate thing is getting kind of played out and whatnot. And plus, and secretly in my own heart, I personally believe that Christians are more than equipped to deal with any atheist on the topic of whether or not God exists or not, or on the topic of morality. Everybody knows that if you run into an atheist now and you don't know what to say, you can go get this Christian or this Christian in the room, and most of those atheists will exit the room and won't even want to engage in serious conversation with them. As I said before, and I said it again, we won a great debate. So I can understand why people are saying, why do you talk about atheism when nobody cares? You care about it. You just don't feel like you're kind of like me. You just kind of feel like we talked about everything. There's nothing else to talk about. So I talk about it every now and then because as a Christian, I want to see some of you get saved, I guess. I don't know. Here's one that's fair. This was super fair. G-Man, who is your primary audience? Depends on what YouTube channel I'm on. Believe it or not, I don't consider my channels alone. You see, there are some people in here who talk about me so much that I consider their YouTube channels my YouTube channels. Believe it or not. So if I'm on, when GTV was around, my primary audience was evolutionists and atheists. Those were my primary audience members. That's why I talked about it so much. My goal for this YouTube channel was to have a primary audience of Christians. And the only reason people are subscribing to this YouTube channel from the atheist community is because they need content to talk about on their channels. I'm just going to keep it 100% real. But the primary audience on this YouTube channel will be Christians. As you can see, my viewership is getting lower and lower and lower. My live audience is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And that is not a bad thing. Not when you're trying to get a certain audience. My audience, I want theists watching this YouTube channel. I want Christians watching this YouTube channel. I do not want non-believers watching this YouTube channel that much because they're not going to understand some of the topic matters, especially when I get into demonology, angels, when I start getting into free will and all this other stuff. A lot of you atheists aren't going to care about those topics. So there's no point of you guys being sub to this channel, to be perfectly honest. And I can understand if you want sub tomorrow. Because I want Christians to watch this. And when I'm ready to get them, I'm going to get them. I just don't got the time like I used to. Because if I had the time like I had when I first came on, yo, Lord, be very different. Let me see something in here. I'm not answering that again. I answered that like a million times. Okay, G-Man, why don't you talk about your No. Okay, yeah, G-Man, why don't you talk about your personal life? I made a decision about 3.5 years ago to 4 years ago to stop talking about my personal life on YouTube, primarily because of what I see going on with other YouTubers. I saw what they was doing to Steve McRae. Matter of fact, I had a really good conversation with him in private. What happened to me during the meetup in New York, what I see going on with Shani and Rev, what I see going on with Negs, and how YouTube is ultimately changing into a platform where people are just pretending to care about you to get your information so that they can use it against you. I'm one of these people. I'm a very observant person. I will pay attention. I'm a big believer on if you're going to treat this person this way, then it's only a matter of time before you treat me that way. A lot of times when I'm counseling women who are looking for a boyfriend or looking for a man, and some of them will come to me and ask me questions about this, even though they should probably go to another woman. But they'll come to me and say, what do you think about so-and-so? Well, I say, so-and-so's got a history of beating up women. What do you think he's going to do to you? I'm just keeping it real. They're going to beat you up too. So when I look at this community and I see how they're treating Shani for Christ on Revelation News, how they're treating Negs, what they did to Von Helton. Like, I've really been paying attention to what they did to Von and what they did to Brett and all. You're crazy out your mind. You think I'm talking about my personal life. And I hear other people on here talking about my personal life. But like I said, 98%, I ain't going to say 99, because that's not true. 98% of the things that they say about my personal life simply isn't true. If they had to go to court and present a ton of evidence, you know what I mean, or they was going to get put, under the guillotine or whatever, they would look really stupid. They don't know anything about me, and I like it that way. You know what I mean? And if they don't know nothing about me, just imagine how little they know about GP. I know about more about GP than any of you do. So the bottom line is, at the end of the day, I don't talk about my personal life on here because I see what you guys do with people's personal information. I see what you guys do. And it always makes me cringe when I hear people come on YouTube talking about their personal life. I say, you better stop doing that, because somebody who doesn't like you is going to use it against you in the future. That's why a lot of people can't come at me the way they come at other people. It's like, should I get mad at this, or should I just ignore this and laugh at this person? Because everything that person just said was a bunch of malarkey. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't talk about my personal life. It's really none of nobody's business. For those of you who was watching the stream yesterday, I decided to delete it, but this video is going to stay up. Buddy Fighting Outside Chat, wish you all the success in the world with your archive channel. Everybody go subscribe to his archive channel. More power to you. Really ain't got nothing else to say about that. I'm glad somebody's preserving my work on YouTube. I see that I'll never have a problem finding shandy stuff. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. So, I mean, there are pros and there are cons with that too. I hope you guys understand that. And I'm not talking about like terms of service. Terms of service on YouTube's a joke. I'm talking about if I ever need something, I know where to find it. Go to find the archive. I can go to a whole bunch of different archive channels or whatever. But with that being said, guys, talk to you guys later.